In the 2000s, Cartoon Network was firing on all cylinders. Because of this, they produced a lot of cartoons that many people remember to this day. This momentum, of course, began to slow down towards the start of the 2010s with the introduction of CN Real, but even during that time, the channel was still producing animated classics. But in today's video, I want to talk about something that rather faded into obscurity. Cartoon Network's animated shorts, better known as Wedgies. This questionably named chunk of airtime is never brought up nowadays, which is why I'm here, and I always found these interesting. So for today's video, let's take another trip back in time and explore this niche area of Cartoon Network's history.
Wedgies!
Are you? Side.
And now for our feature presentation.
Our story begins in 2008. In June of that year, Cartoon Network would try out another concept for their channel. The idea consisted of short cartoons that would air during commercial breaks, in between episodes of their main shows. This wasn't exactly new, as other channels had been doing this prior to CN. The channel would title these shorts Wedgies. The shorts featured were completely original, only being made for the Wedgies concept. I'm not sure if these were created to see if they could potentially become a full series, just like CN had done with What a Cartoon, but regardless, Cartoon Network seemed to be interested in these shorts. So with that being said, let's look at what was being offered. 5 different short cartoons were created for Wedgies. These included Nacho Bear, Big Baby, Calling Cat 22, The Bremen Avenue Experience, and The Talented Mr. Bixby. Every episode of these had a runtime of 2 minutes. For this portion of the video, I'm gonna go through each show individually in order to keep everything from getting mixed together. So on to the first tune. We'll start with Nacho Bear, probably the simplest short from the lineup to understand. The shorts are focused on a bear and his raccoon friend as they try to obtain a singular nacho chip. Not a speck of cheese is on that chip, so I'm not sure why they call it a nacho. That's pretty much the entire premise. Of course, they don't get the chip, usually due to circumstances beyond their control or just room temperature IQ. Pretty much a lower quality version of those Scrat scenes from the Ice Age movies. There's no dialogue in these shorts either, as the characters only communicate through sounds. The main thing I noticed about these shorts is the amount of times they recycle the animation. This sequence is literally reused 3 times in less than a minute. On the topic of animation, it's alright I guess. Despite the short runtime, the animation is very fluid, even though there are still some odd choices. I want to believe it was intentional, but I really don't think it was. The humor also revolves around characters being clumsy, which can only go so far until it gets repetitive. All of that considered, this is middle of the road. Nothing bad, but nothing that exciting. On to the next one. Okay, where do I start with this one? Big Baby was a short about a big baby.
Oh my god.
You can probably tell why this didn't go beyond Wedgies. Nothing makes sense in these segments. Usually what happens is some relatively normal event is going on in the city until a problem occurs. How will they ever solve this problem? Let's get a giant baby. He'll figure it out. By sheer insanity, this baby finds a way to solve the problem and ends up saving the day. Somehow he never gets hurt, the end. Honestly, this short doesn't take itself seriously, so I'll give them that. It should be obvious from the whole premise that this is meant to be goofy and nothing more. You might have already noticed the animation. It has the bootleg Archer art style, and the animation for Big Baby himself is clearly not the same as everyone else's. The same sound effects are used over and over again too. If the plan was for this to become a full-length series, I really don't know how that would have worked. This is one of those ideas that only works as a short segment. I couldn't imagine Cartoon Network dragging this out for a whole 11 minutes. Even as a kid, I wasn't too amused by these shorts. Overall, this is just a novelty. As long as you don't take it seriously, you won't hate it that much. But I'm questioning what Cartoon Network expected to come from this. On to the Bremen Avenue Experience. This was a series of shorts about a small garage band playing music as they constantly look for new ways to stand out. Even though they're unknown at the moment, they hope to become huge rock legends in due time. So first off, the animation. I actually like this. It's very different from what we've seen so far. All of the characters are different shades of one singular color, which is why they pop out from the dotted backgrounds. Definitely an attention getter. My only real gripe with the short is the pacing. I know that it's only 2 minutes, so they had to fit as much content as they could, but it moves a mile per second here. If I'm being honest, I could have seen this becoming a full series on Cartoon Network. With a few tweaks here and there, mostly with the pacing, this could have worked as a show. Not to the level of their most successful shows, but to the point where I wouldn't be talking about it in this video. Anyways, let's keep going. Looks like Rough Ruffman's supervisor found work as a spy and... oh, sorry, that's not Blossom. I swear that's who I thought it was. Anyways, this is Cat 22, a James Bond-like spy who has to stay undercover while gathering information on dogs. He's usually tasked with weird missions given to him by his boss. None of these missions ever end well for him, however. These shorts are pretty straightforward. The animation is passable. Again, if you told me this was some long-lost spin-off of Fetch from Rough Ruffman, I would have believed you. The animation is nearly identical. Also, there's CGI in these shorts, but it's only ever used for a few seconds, which just makes me wonder why it was there in the first place. If you have access to this technology, you might as well do something interesting with it at least. Oh, and the humor is something.
Don't want to look, and yet I can't look away.
I think these shorts were alright at the very least. As for a full series, it probably could have been one, but it wouldn't have lasted long. Similar to the Bremen Avenue experience, they would have had to do a lot to stand out against the top cartoons at the time, but all we can do is enjoy it for what it was. On to the last segment. And finally, for the segments that I remember the most, this is the talented Mr. Bixby. These shorts were about a guy named Mr. Bixby and the many occasions where he has to substitute for different people working at school. Normally he works as a janitor, but he ends up getting called by the school principal to take over for different roles as the teachers are out for the day. This often results in him screwing everything up since he knows next to nothing about the jobs he's given. He has a good personality and is overall well-meaning, but he's very incompetent. From bus driver to shop teacher to exterminator, Mr. Bixby has done it all.
Does a bear eat nachos?
As for the animation, it's actually not that bad. Fits in with the wackiness of the plots. It's one of the better animated segments from this lineup. In my opinion, this could have also been a full series. The concept of a clueless substitute teacher doing things he knows nothing about does present many opportunities for plots. And with good enough writing, they could have put enough material into an 11-minute episode. However, just like every other short from Wedgies, it remained where it was forever. It kinda sucks because somehow this garbage became a series, which just proves that it doesn't take much to get into Cartoon Network. So, what happened to Wedgies? Well, they didn't last too long. The final shorts aired in 2009, the year right after they started. However, reruns would continue to air on Boomerang. This was until Boomerang was rebranded in 2015, killing off the entire vintage aesthetic that Boomerang had for years. This was ultimately when Cartoon Network turned Boomerang into their version of Nicktoons, aka a dumping ground for the shows that weren't doing well on Cartoon Network. Once Boomerang was changed, Wedgies was pretty much done for good, putting an end to their run. Quick side note I wanted to add is that the shorts were also available on Cartoon Network's website for a time. Wedgies was an interesting concept looking back. Even though nothing came of the shorts provided, it's still interesting to see what CN was trying to bring to their lineup. What were your thoughts on Wedgies? Feel free to leave your comments down below. But with all of that said, that just about wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for future content.